Hello, my name is Delyth Hughes, and this is my poster on synchrony and visual perspective taking. This research investigated whether synchronizing, or failing to synchronize, with another person would affect one's tendency to spontaneously take on their visual perspective. For the purposes of this research, interpersonal synchrony is defined as two people enacting the same motions at the same time. It has been linked to all kinds of social and emotional outcomes, including increased feelings of trust. We measured synchrony by having participants tap to a piece of music whilst watching a video of a Confederate tapping. In the synchronous condition, the music the participant tapped to matched the Confederate's tapping. In the asynchronous condition, the music the Confederate was tapping to did not match the participants. We then used a modified version of the Sampson et al. 2010 dots on a wall task as a measure of visual perspective. So how we added the social context was by using the Confederate from the previous task as the avatar in the dots on the wall task. We additionally included a few measures such as an empathy quotient, a trust scale, a mind attribution scale, and a similarity rating to check that the social outcomes of synchrony were taking place. We did find this as participants indicated higher ratings of self-reported similarity in the synchronous condition than the asynchronous condition. We found significant consistency effects as we expected, so when the participant and the avatar could see the same number of discs, the speed and the magnitude of correct responses was higher than if the two perspectives were different. However, we also found that there was a larger consistency effect in synchronous than asynchronous for the own perspective. So in both accuracy and reaction times, participants were asked to report their own perspective but were disrupted when the Confederate's perspective was inconsistent to theirs. So there is potentially evidence of self-other overlap here, with participants experiencing alter-centric intrusions, where the participants are given the opportunity to ignore the other perspective, but involuntarily process it anyway. So their own perspective is being merged with the Confederate, so the Confederate is being perceived as an extension of themselves. This research suggests that synchrony can have not only social emotional effects, but also cognitive outcomes, and we have the opportunity to extend research into the effects of synchrony on the self as opposed to the social context as a whole. These two studies form the first experimental chapter of my thesis. I am going to follow up research into this by looking more into similarity. Does physical or perceived similarity put participants at a different start point for spontaneous visual perspective taking, and whether synchrony will change that, and looking further into what degree of asynchrony will impact visual perspective taking and perceptions of others.